So hello everyone, welcome to this another video of Scale Up India. I'm Abhishek Verma and you are watching the Hibernate series. So in the last video, we discussed about primary cache and we saw that it is by default enabled also. We saw how to use it. And if you remember that we also told you that it is related with a particular session. Now in today's video, we are going to learn about the secondary cache. Now, instead of directly moving on how to implement the secondary cache, I'll again try to explain you with the help of a very small presentation of just 3 slides, yeah, so that it becomes easier for you to understand. But before we directly move on to that particular part, let me show you one more interesting thing. So when I was preparing this particular demo, so you won't believe me that it took me almost 4 to 5 days in order to prepare just this particular part. Like for the whole series, for most of the things, every time I keep on getting the content, so much documentation and everything was available. But for this secondary level cache, the things were not easy. Just for this single demo, it took me 4 days in order to get the things. I even took the help of ChatGPT also and even the Gemini also, yeah, but still there were issues because from everywhere I was getting some different solutions, and at once I thought that okay, let's leave it, because at max how many people will watch? Only very small limited amount of people will watch. Like who will search that okay, how to implement secondary level cache? Most of the people won't even come to the caching part, yeah. But then still I thought that okay, the number one point is that when I'm teaching you this particular thing, so I'm also learning something new, okay. So although like I have used it earlier also, but the point is that when you are using in a particular client project, then there are many different ways, yeah. So that is one reason. Another reason is that the point is that if you are watching this channel, so you should be getting the complete idea of the stuff. Irrespective, you may use it in future, you may not use it in future. Maybe today you are the viewer who is just searching for this from all the places, and then you have found this video. So my at point is that in order to make all these videos, sometimes it becomes very difficult in order to get the particular content and in order to think about the various different scenario. So in case if you like the video and if you find the things are useful for you, then at least just give up a thumbs up, comment something that okay, you have found it interesting, how much difficult for you to watch this, so that YouTube starts promoting our videos also, yeah. Otherwise it's little more difficult. And besides, like before I move on to the next part, just one more small last thing, yeah. You will say that okay, why this person is speaking too much today? Yeah, I mean just one more small thing, because our Hibernate series is about to end, so that's why I thought to take some more time of you. So here you see this is the about section of my channel. Like if you are checking on the desktop, then this is the way. Otherwise on mobile you will see a separate this particular about tab also here. So here if you see, you will find that we have all these links also for me, okay. So this is the Telegram channel link. Many times if you say that okay, from YouTube you are getting too many notifications for various channels and hence you try to turn them off, so better is you can connect with me on Telegram also, and there also I keep on updating. It's not a case that there I'm selling something, still it is free only. The only thing is the moment I'm uploading a video, I'm publishing it, you will get a notification from Telegram. Another thing is this is my LinkedIn ID. So this is my LinkedIn link for me, and this is for the channel. So there also you can connect with me. This is the GitHub. So I hope that you are always checking the description and from there you are downloading the free demo. This is for YouTube only, okay, so that you subscribe the channel. If you haven't done till now, you can just click on this. And this is the Instagram also. So now I'm available on Instagram also. The point is there also I'm uploading, but there it is only about the interview shots. So same interview shots you will get on YouTube also. Now this is just your preference, whether you like to watch them on YouTube or you want to watch them on Insta. So that's completely your choice. Now let's directly move on and see, this is still 1.47k subscribers. Please help me to increase it, okay. I mean for that you don't need to create dummy accounts. Instead ask your friends, instead ask your colleagues, keep on sharing it with others also who want to learn Java. Yeah, so now let's directly move on to the next part, and first of all see it with the help of animation, how the primary cache as well as secondary cache both are going to work together. So let's start for this particular part, and first let me again do a quick revision of primary cache here. So like if you remember the last time I mentioned you that this is our application, then this is our database, and between them it sits the persistence context which is related with a particular session. Your session will start, persistence context will start, your session will close, this will also get destroyed, and we call it as primary cache also. Yeah, this is by default enabled in every Hibernate code. Now let's say that you are asking for ID number 10, you want to fetch it from the database. So first of all it will look into the primary cache if it is available or not. So obviously you can see that currently it is empty, so it will make a request to the database here. Yeah, so initially it will say okay, it is a cache miss, and it will make a request to the database. From there it will fetch, and it will keep a copy in your persistence context also, or the primary cache. So one copy is now kept here. Now the benefit is that next time within this session only, if let's say there is some requirement that you are again fetching this particular ID 10, so now since it is already available here, it doesn't need to make a request to the database, and hence it is saving your time with the help of this particular thing, and hence we call it as cache hit. So this was the theory of primary cache, and last time I'll also show you that how to implement the same thing in the code also. Yeah, but today's topic is secondary cache. So for that let's see and take help of the next slide. Now again we have this application, we have this particular database, and initially as I told you, secondary cache is something which is not going to be available to you by default. For this you need to do some amount of extra hard work, because of which even for me also it took around 4 to 5 days. Yeah, so that is the point here. So let's see that in the case the secondary cache is not enabled, then how the things are going to look like. So let's say that first of all we are making a request for ID 10 again, and the session got started, primary cache got created, again the thing is not here, so it will be considered as a cache miss. Then again it will go to the database, from there it will fetch, it will put it up there, it will send to the application. Now within the same session only, if I make another request, again the thing is available to me, and it will be considered as a cache hit. Yeah, but this is when we just have a single session. Now you will say that okay, how many times in the actual application within the same session itself I will keep on asking for the same ID. Generally we will never do that, okay, until unless there is some particular requirement. You are not going to do something like this within a particular session. Generally what you do is from the UI itself, from the service layer itself, you keep on making number of requests. Okay, so that means there are going to be multiple sessions generally. So now let's say this session is over, and after this you are making a request for this ID 10 again, and this is your second cache, second session, second cache. Okay, now this has again nothing to do with the first one. Now again as you can see, this is empty for the first time. So for the first time when again you are going to ask this, again it will say a cache miss, and then again it will go to the database, from there it is going to fetch the thing. So that means that the benefit of primary cache is there, but only till you are working in a single session. Generally we don't do like this, we keep on requesting from the database again and again. So in that case the primary cache is not very much helpful, and we need to take help of the secondary cache. And if secondary cache is disabled, the screen is going to look something like this. If you are making let's say 3 requests like this, so it is going to request your database 2 times. Yeah, so this is the point. Now let's say the same thing, but when this secondary cache is enabled. Now how to enable this, what all things you need to do, that I will tell you in some time, but as of now let's say by default it is enabled for us, somehow we have enabled it. Now again we are going to do the same thing. For the first request with it was empty, again cache miss, it will go there, it will come here, again the second, and here just before the second request, the interesting part is that since this time the secondary cache is also enabled, so what it will do is that besides keeping a copy in the primary cache, it is also going to keep a copy in the secondary cache also. Now this secondary cache is, again you see, it is not related with a particular session. Instead it is related with the whole session factory, and your session factory So within one particular application, the moment we start Hibernate, at that time only I told you that within one application for one database, you always have one session factory. One application, one database, one session factory. One application, two different database. So let's say MySQL and let's say some other PostgreSQL or complete different database, then only you will go for a second session factory. Otherwise, only one session factory. So this time it will keep a copy in your secondary cache there. Yeah. Now you see the benefit. Now let's say again within this session only you make a request. So it is getting from this session only. But let's say you are making a request outside the session. So outside the session, if you are making a request, so this time again a primary cache 2 will be created as always, but it will say it is not available here. Now this time, although it is not available here, but your secondary cache is enabled. And because of this, instead of making a request to the database, it will get a copy from your secondary cache only, something like this. You see, it is not making a request to the database. From there only it is copying it to your again primary cache. So always it will keep on copying to the primary cache, because you remember that it needs to maintain your Hibernate various entity states also. Yeah, and hence we say that this is the benefit. So overall to the database, you see there is still only one particular request by the time the things are available in your secondary cache. Now some of you may say that, okay, Abhishek, what if that in between someone updates this particular entity 10? Let's say someone has updated the pet name, let's say someone has updated the city of owner, state of the owner, then what? So the secondary cache is intelligent enough. Yeah, so it is not a case that things will keep on there forever. This is also very much intelligent here. The moment you are going to have any kind of operation, let's say update operation, delete operation on this particular entity, it will get destroyed from your secondary cache. So in that case, again it is going to make a request to your database. Yeah, things will remain in the secondary cache till the point either your application is not going to be stopped or there is no change in your this particular secondary cache. Yeah, so that is the particular benefit here. Now I hope the things are clear, and if it is yes, now let's do some amount of hard work and let's go to the code. And if you feel that, okay, the video is too long and now you are tired, so you can pause it here, you can take some rest, and again you can come back. Till then, let me go to my IDE. So now we are in our IDE, and as always I have made this demo number 23. So in demo 22 you will see primary cache, in demo 21 various Hibernate entity states. Demo 23 is again just a blank copy of demo 22. So as of now there is no change. Let me just quickly execute it once. Yeah, so here if I execute, because I want to show you one simple thing, yeah, before we make any change in this particular one. And believe me, there won't be much changes, only very few amount of changes are there, because now I have figured out what are the minimum things you need in order to have your secondary cache. You don't need to waste your 4 or 5 days if you are watching this video. So here you see that when we are starting this, so here it says Hibernate ORM version, it says it is loading properties, and here only in the starting it says that currently the second level cache is disabled. So this means that by default your secondary level cache is always going to be disabled. You need to enable it manually. Yeah, so that is the particular thing here. Now if this is the particular case, so now the point is that we need to enable this and we need to utilize this. And before this, let me just showcase you that, okay, as the last time, this time also I'm having again first of all those 4 options, that first of all we are getting the selected owners. Now if you remember the previous demo, then tell me which 3 selected owners we were getting. Okay, basically not 3, it was only 2. So first ID was 10, then 20, and then again 10. Okay, so first we are getting them as a list, then as an individual. So in the repository we are making request again and again, and in the service we are preparing the list. Then we are making usage of SQL for this. Then 4th one is also again SQL, and the 5th one is to fetch all owners. Okay, because here also I will show you one more very much interesting thing. So that's why only I kept this as fetch all owners. Again it is with the help of SQL only. Yeah, but as of now you see that secondary level cache is disabled. So the point number 1 is we need to enable this. Now in case if you want to enable this, then the number 1 change which you need to do is in your pom.xml. So first of all, let's go there. Now in the pom.xml, as you see that currently we are having only two dependencies, Hibernate core, which is going to provide us the Hibernate features, and the second one is MySQL connector J for the MySQL feature. Now in order to enable the second level cache, we need to add one more dependency here, and that dependency is Hibernate J cache. So that is the name of dependency here, Hibernate J cache, where J cache stands for Java cache or Java caching. Yeah, so let's go there. So for this, let me come here and click on this Maven repository, and here let me search that particular thing. Okay, you see that so much things are there. Yeah, see, I search for this, I search for this, so this is the exact name. Yeah, so I did a lot of hard work for this one. So here this is the one. Now you see for this Hibernate J cache, again you are checking two options here. Let me just increase the screen size if required. So here you see two options are there. Which one to go for? Now they have made it easier. They says that okay, even if you are choosing this, better to go on this ORM only. This is the better thing. And here also it says this is an integration for javax.cache into Hibernate as a second level caching service. So this is a particular Java cache service available. And the benefit of this dependency is then the moment you add the dependency, your Hibernate can take help of your Hibernate J cache. Yeah, that is Java cache. So let's go there. Again, we have so many versions here. Let's choose this version as of now. And here, let me copy this particular version here. So I have copied the whole thing here. Let me come back to this particular part. Let me add it here somewhere on this particular space. Yeah, and let me remove this particular line also. Let's say Control Shift F. So now the things look like this. Now here one important thing which you need to take care is that version of your Hibernate J cache should match the version of your Hibernate core. So here you see that my Hibernate core is on 6.4.4, and luckily this is also on the same version. But here it was also, let's say it was also going for this 6.5.01, and that is CR1. Yeah, the point is that CR1 is still in the starting stage. Till the point it is going to come to the final, we are not going to use this. So for us it is the only one. But how to ensure that both of them are using the same version? So for this, instead of explicitly mentioning, better is that you copy this particular thing. Now you are ensured that every time you are changing the version of your Hibernate core, the version of your Hibernate J cache will also get changed. Yeah, so that is number one thing which we have implemented here, and I told you this J cache means Java cache here. Now let's again execute the code, and here let me just quickly execute this. So on executing here, I am getting some particular error here. Yeah, now this error has nothing to do with the Hibernate here, guys. Many times what happens is the moment you are changing any dependency in your pom.xml, so the default behavior should be that whenever you have made any particular change here, so Hibernate should be this Maven should be able to download it automatically and update your project. Many times it is unable to do the same. So now it says that okay, I'm unable to find the JDBC connections and everything, although they are available in my Hibernate.properties file. Yeah, so the solution is simple. You just go here and you say Maven and you just say update project. Yeah, so see, this is the benefit of watching this. I'm not going to hide anything from you, and I will show you whatever the things are available here. So if any exception will come, any error will come, I'll try to showcase you if it adds something to your learning. So now you see that if you get some amount of error like this and you found that okay, earlier it was working, just update your Maven project and then try to restart it again. So on starting it again, now you see now the things are again working. Okay, so that was a simple solution. Now again let's see here. So here it says Hibernate ORM core version. So this is the one. Then it says loaded properties from resources, again as it is like before, and this time it says that secondary level cache region factory. So this time it is going to provide you some region factory, and then it says that okay, this is the region factory, Jcache internal Jcache region factory. Let's see if we can find it somewhere in our this Maven dependencies. Okay, so it says I am existing inside org.hibernate.cache. Let's see if I can find this for you. So this is the one. Hibernate jcache. So let's go there, and then this is the thing, cache.jcache. So let's go here. Okay, this is internal. Okay, so this is the package name internal. So let's go here, and there it says the class name is jcache region factory. So here it is. So this you can see, this is the particular one, jcache region factory, which we are getting here. Yeah. So this is the particular thing, jcache, which we have got after adding this dependency. But the point is that this is just a kind of a region factory. This is not going to provide you the cache as such. It can provide you most of the methods which you can utilize, but not the cache implementation. Yeah. So in order to get the implementation, you need to again go to some provider. Now for jcache also, there are so many kind of providers available. You can take help of ehcache or hazelnut also. So many kinds of various providers are available. The popular one among them is ehcache. So that is going to be the most popular one. So after adding this, we need to add that also. Otherwise, you see, this is the reason that why it took me so much amount of time. Because in most of the tutorials, they say just add it and the things are going to work fine for you. Believe me, they didn't work for me. Yeah. So if you add this afterwards, you may get one or some different kind of error here. Yeah. So this is the thing. So now let's try to add the provider. For this, we'll again go here, and this time we will search for this ehcache. So again, so many dependencies are there. You just need to search for this ehcache here. Again, you see ehcache core, Hibernate ehcache. So someone said add this, someone said add that. Okay, the point is we just need to add this one, which is coming from org.ehcache, not from this netsf. That is the old one. Okay, so let's go to this new one, ehcache, and here the latest one is 3.10.8. It was released in 2022, so it's pretty much old enough. So irrespective, whenever you are watching, I hope that this is the latest version available to you. Otherwise, always just have a look here that what is the latest version. So let's quickly add this also here. So if I add, now it looks like this. Let me just add this particular one again, Control Shift O, Control Shift F. Yeah, and as a good practice, let me just put it outside. So here, what was the name of it? If you remember, I just forgot. I guess it was somewhere in refactoring. Okay, code actions extract as the new property. So ehcache hyphen version, and instead of adding it on the top, let's add it at the end, so that we remember the order in which we add it. So we always added it in the last. Okay, just to remember, otherwise it doesn't matter. So now this is the thing, guys. Okay, so again the things are going to work fine. So again, let's do, and this time let's do this Maven first, because I know that for me always it is going to throw the error. Yeah, so let me just do it quickly again. So here, see, it is trying to update this time. Okay, because this was not a part of, let's say, my repository earlier, so it is trying to fetch this particular thing, and here it says there is some particular error also. Okay, so although if you go here, it won't show you any kind of error, but here it is showing you some error. Now what to do? So then you go to your effective form. Here also there is no error as such, and everything seems fine only. Then go to this dependency hierarchy. So here it says there is a project read error. This is the one, but we are not sure what is the error. So here, if you go to this dependencies tab, then only it will show you that okay, there is something like javax xml bind, and there is some issue related with this particular thing. Okay, the point is that you need to exclude this particular thing from your ehcache. So the moment you are adding the ehcache dependency, this is also coming along with it, but you don't need it, and hence we need to exclude it. So now let me just copy a code in order to exclude this. So now as you can see that I have added this particular part, and what it will do is that it is going to exclude jaxb runtime from your ehcache dependency. Yeah, now after it has removed, and again let's go to this dependencies tab. Now there is no error, and if you even if you go to this dependency hierarchy, here also you see that it has been excluded from your thing. Okay, jaxb runtime, everything has been excluded here. Here also it doesn't shows you any error, and let me just quickly do a Maven update here. So one more time, and yeah, this is the thing. Okay, so now the things are ready for us. So number one thing is you just need to add these two dependencies, Hibernate JCache. It will provide you the functionality of the Java cache, but only this is not going to work alone because this is just a specification. Now you need an implementation also. For this I'm using cache. There are many more providers also. I'm using this particular one because this is most popular. From this, the important part is you need to exclude your JXB runtime. So first part of the tutorial, or we can say second part of this whole video is over, because first part was the presentation. This was the second part where we need to add the two dependencies. Now let's go for the third part. So for the third part, we need to go to this src main resources, and here also in the Hibernate properties. So here also we need to enable this particular second level cache. So this is the next thing. So they say that this is the particular property which you need to add in order to enable the second level cache after adding the dependency. The name of the property is hibernate.cache.use second level cache, and you need to make it true. By default it is always false. Now you will say that, okay Abhishek, you are directly again showing the thing. Tell us the proof. How did you identify this particular thing? So for this, let me just quickly copy this. Okay, I'll show you the reverse engineering now. Okay, so whenever you are worried about that, okay, which property you should go for, what are the things, what are the various properties, no one can remember. Even I can't remember so many things. So the rule is that you just need to go to this Hibernate documentation. I've shown this Hibernate documentation in the very initial videos of Hibernate, and here I'll just search for this. Okay, for directly this particular name. In case obviously when you will be searching you won't know this, so you just need to have a look to the documentation, or you just search by the word cache. So when you search for this, here it will say that we need to make it true to enable caching and false to disable it. So this is a general rule. But the point is that since 6.3 onwards, they say that now in case if your application has this particular thing, that is cache region factory class is already set, and then you don't need to worry about this. So in case this particular thing, that is region factory, is already set, then it doesn't matter whether you make it true or false, because now by default it is going to be true only, and you should not be making it false because you want second level cache. Yeah, now you will say that, okay, this means that we need to set this particular thing. The answer is no, because if you remember just now when I executed the code, at that time only it was saying that it has identified this as the region factory. And why it identified that? Because I added JCache. So that is the advantage of your JCache. It acts as the overall specification. Moment you add this, it will identify the region factory. So hence from now onwards we will say that, okay, it's a good practice even if you keep. Otherwise as of now it is necessary, so we won't add it. My point is because many times you may say that, okay, I saw one more tutorial and they were adding this particular thing. Do we need it or not? Okay, so that's why I just shown you, but now you don't need this. It's not at all required. Every time I have a proof here with me, okay, from the main documentation itself, and that's the benefit if you are watching this particular channel here. Now let's move on for the next particular part. And the next thing is the changes in your code. The thing for which you for this, what you need to do is that first of all you need to go to your entity. Upon your entity, now at the end you will say, okay, what we are going to cache? We are going to cache our entities, because when I will say ID 10, it will get me a owner entity, it will get me a pet entity, so I need to cache those entities only. So here also on your entities you need to enable it, and for this the annotation is @cacheable. So this is the one which is coming from Jakarta persistence. Don't go for this org Hibernate. Okay, many tutorials will say you that, okay, go to org Hibernate. Don't go for it, that is only for Hibernate. Better to go for Jakarta persistence, that is more common. Okay, and generally only this can do your job. Okay, until unless you know you need very much amount of specific things, so this will do your job. So I have added this particular thing also. Now you will say that, okay Abhishek, show us what is there inside this annotation as always. So let's go there. So only one particular variable is there which says value. So by default it is true. Now you have done so much amount of work. Do you want cache or not? Obviously yes. So by default it is true. If you say now I don't want, make it false, or just simply don't add it. I mean, that's the simple thing. Okay. So I have added this annotation here. Let me add the annotation on my pet class also, because again that is a separate entity. Yeah. So here also we have added this particular thing. Now here also we have done. Now the next question is, do we need to add this on the domestic pet as well as the wild pet or not? Because they are also the child entities. Yeah. So let's see what the rule says. So here if you go, the rule says that this specify whether entity should be cached or not. Okay, whether it needs to be enabled or not. So that we have done. Now this line is important. The value of cacheable annotation is inherited by the subclass, which means if you are using this annotation on the parent class, automatically your child classes will inherit it, and you don't need until unless you want to override them. Okay, override what you can do, that only one particular value only. Yeah. So as of now I don't need to add this on my child classes, because by default for them also I need to enable cache, and here it says it will be automatically inherited. So again this is the point here. So this also we have done. Now what? Now the only thing left is we need to execute the code. So let's quickly execute the code and see how the things are going to look like. So here if I go, so yeah, everything has started, and as you can see that okay, the secondary level cache is there with me. So let's click on the very first one. So here if I show you what is my method number 1, so it says fetch selected owners as list using the get method. So I will go to this demo, and then here I will go. So IDs are again 10, 20 and 10 primary cache enabled. So this is the one here, and here you see I'm passing the complete list only. Now here when I'm passing the complete list, so things are looking like this. Again the same code which you saw in the previous demo also. Now here you tell me, does this code need secondary cache or not? Because here we are fetching this thing only within a single session. So if we are fetching within a single session, do we need a secondary cache here? The answer is not. We don't need a secondary cache for this, and hence I said that okay, for this only primary cache is enough because it is by default enabled. Yeah. So here if you will click on this particular one, let me just quickly click here, that click 1. Yeah. So here you see that first of all it executed these two statements, because here owner is lazy loading your pet. So for pet again a separate query will be executed. So this is for the first time you are passing 10, then this is when you are passing 20. Now when again you will pass 10, it will say it is already available in the primary cache. Now since it is already available in the primary cache, so it is not fetching it again. Yeah, that is the benefit. So you will say that okay, then what's the benefit of secondary cache? So here the only point is that now it has also made a copy in the secondary cache, but although for this particular one you don't need to take help of your secondary cache, only this much is sufficient here. Yeah. So this is the point. Now let me again stop the code and let's start with the second one. Otherwise it may try to see from your primary cache, secondary cache for your first query also. Yeah. Now for the second one. For the second one, this time it will be getting the individuals like one by one from the repository. So let's go here, and here this is the second one, again the same values. So this time the difference is that now I'm applying the stream in the service layer. So I'm calling the repository layer 3 times. So 3 times I will be calling it. So that means it is going to be every time a new session for me. Every time a new session, every time a new primary cache for me. So this time secondary cache will come into the picture. So let's click on 2 again. So now again when we are clicking 2, you see first 2 queries got executed because of ID 10. Second 2 queries got executed because of your ID 20. Now you will say that one more query got executed, but the point is this query is actually different. If you scroll it to this particular side, now you see the difference. For the first time when it is fetching for ID 10, it is saying where owner.id equals to 10. Yeah, the question mark replace, I have replaced it with 10. Second time it says where owner.id is 20. For that it is fetching. Third time it is not making that query. This time, since here our code is not a simple one, it is a very complex code. Here we have something like one to many mapping also. Okay, sorry, not one to many mapping, but here it is one to one mapping also. And this is lazy loading. So since this is lazy loading, and from this another side, so if you see here, from the pet, there is no way that directly you can get the owner because it is lazy loading. Hence, for this particular thing, it is making a separate query. So this is a complete different kind of a query. So this is the point here. So although it is taking the benefit of secondary cache, because it is taking benefit of secondary cache, that's why for the next time also it didn't execute two queries. Okay, what it is doing is that it is just verifying that whatever the pet I'm having in my cache, is it related with this particular owner only or not. So only that it is verifying. Hence, with the help of pet ID, it is trying to identify the owner. So only that it is doing. So secondary cache is now working fine. Yeah. So that is the point here, guys. Now let's execute it again. And this time let's go for, for a very simple demo, if someone will show you only with one class, you will see it very easily. But our demo is a little big, so hence things are going to look like this. Now for the HQL. Now I told you in the last demo that for HQL, your primary cache never works, because HQL is meant basically when you have very different kind of where condition, whether it is your HQL or your Hibernate API query. So primary cache never works for them. Yeah. Now let's see for this one whether it is going to work or not. So currently we are in our this owner repository IMPL. So if we go here, this is your particular one, selected owners, and you see that here only we have applied stream. So every time it is making a new query here. Yeah. So here it is again making 3 queries. So the point is this time again it is not taking help of your primary cache. Yeah, because primary cache never works with the HQL, but do the secondary query works? Does the secondary cache works with your HQL? Yeah. So currently it seems that okay, secondary cache is also not supporting this. Yeah. But the trick is for your HQL or for your Hibernate query, you need to add one more parameter. And that is that first of all, you need to go here and you need to do something like this. Hibernate cache use query cache. So for your HQL or Hibernate queries, you need to add this one property also, and you need to make it explicitly true. And this will only stand after you have already enabled the second level cache. Again, you will see how you identified this. So I can take you here, and here you see caching query results. So here this is the one, Hibernate cache use query cache. So first of all, you need to make it true, and also for every query you need to say set cacheable true. So let's again come back here. So this is one change which we have done for HQL, and next one is that here, somewhere in this particular part, after setting the parameter. Okay, otherwise here it will give you the output, so there you can't do that. So after setting the parameter, here you need to add this particular one, that is dot set cacheable true. So this also you need to do here. Yeah, and let's do it for all of them. So for all the queries, let me quickly do after setting the parameter. So here also I have done, and let me do it for this last one also in single go. Yeah, so I have just added it for all these here, as you can see, and now let me just quickly execute the code again. So now if I'm executing the code again, now let's see the benefit. So again, let me click on 3 here. So now when I'm clicking, you see only 2 queries got executed. So although it is using HQL, HQL never makes usage of the primary cache. Okay, so although everything is within a single session, here also it is taking help of your secondary cache, not primary cache. Okay, now let me just stop it and execute it one more time. Yeah, and this time let me click on for the fourth one. So for the fourth, so this time for the fourth one when I'm doing, so for the fourth, you see what it is doing actually. Here only it is trying to do this. Okay, so it is providing the complete owner ID list here. Sorry, not this one, this is the one. So here we are streaming here, and in the repository we are getting one by one. So although you are getting one by one, but since you have set cacheable true, so every time it sets the result in the secondary cache. Since the things are in the secondary cache, now only two queries got executed. So this is for the first 10, then this is for the 20. Next time when again you say 10, HQL says that okay, the thing is already available in the secondary cache. Why you are disturbing me? Okay, so as HQL always supports your secondary cache. Even Hibernate criteria API also supports only your secondary cache. For this, you just need to make it like this: set cacheable true. Yeah. Now let me show you one more interesting magic, and this is going to be the last execution. So now let me click on 5. Okay, so this fifth one is very simple. We are just fetching all the owners. Yeah, and I have made set cacheable true. Now let me show you the magic. Yeah, and here I'll click 5. So you see when I'm clicking 5, it is making one single query, because here we are making usage of join fetch, which is eager query. With one single query, I'm getting all the 72 owners. Now, since with the help of one single query, I got all the 72 owners, where did it is saved? It is actually saving in your secondary cache. Now you tell me that without stopping the code, if I request it for 5 again, what will it do? Will it actually make a call to the database or not? For these 72 results, so many results, for this also, will it make a request to the database or not? If secondary cache is actually working, so this time, even if I will make 5 again, it should not actually hit the database. Let's see. So I'm clicking on the 5 again, and you see this time I just said 5, no query got executed. So it is not actually executing any query, because last time you see when I actually click 5, every time I'm printing the HQL statement, whatever the thing it is. Okay, and it got printed last time. But this time when I'm saying 5, it is not printing anything, because 72 results were available in my secondary cache and I just utilized it from there. That is the only reason for the first 4. Again and again I was stopping the code. Otherwise, always it is going to fetch from the secondary cache and it will never make a request to the database. So you will say that okay, Abhishek, it is not even making a request to the database. Why is it so? This is the reason, because it saves everything in your secondary cache. Now till what time it is going to be saved? It is going to be saved till the point you are closing the application or you make any change to any one of the owners. So now let's say if you make a change to this owner ID 10, then only it is going to clear it, and then again it is going to fetch it from the database. So that is the benefit of your secondary level cache. And so that was all about the theory also, as well as the practical how to enable it. Now if you find the video interesting, you know what you need to do. Okay, now let me not repeat that part again, but just that was the thing from my side. Thanks everyone.